Crystal here with LP Design and Crystal's Originals, and here today I'm going to do an art demo on how to fuse clay. Now you may not know what fusing clay is, but I'll show you some examples. So here is a cute little teapot that we made in one of my art classes, Alice in Wonderland pottery, and this is really fun because there's actually 3 types of fusing. We have 2 pinch pots that we use to create this, and this is 2 pieces fused together for the body. This handle is fused on, so it's attached. Fusing means attached. And then we also have this little spout here. And this cool top hat, yes, also from Alice in Wonderland, from the Mad Hatter, we have several pieces of clay fused together. We have this top part here, this round part, and of course the bottom part as well. That is all fused together. Then we have this cute little, it hasn't been painted yet, but we have this fun cupcake, and in the top, this spiral of frosting has been fused together on the inside so it doesn't fall apart. Now, you may ask me, why is it so important that we fuse our clay? Well, as clay dries, it has a lot of moisture in it, right? And as it dries, the clay tends to separate and it shrinks. So as that happens, our clay pieces could fall apart if they're not fused really well. If you've ever done a project and it fell apart because it was made of clay, it was probably because it wasn't fused together well. So I'm gonna turn my camera down and show you how to fuse 2 pieces of clay together. So I have some basic tools. I have some water. I also have a fork. So if you have a fork at home, you can use it, or you can use a needle tool. We also have our smearing tool, and if you don't have that, you can easily use a popsicle stick. So my first thing I need to do if I'm going to fuse my clay is I have to score the area, which just means rough it up. So you can use a fork or you can use something like this, and you're just scratching the surface. It's kind of called cross-hatching because you're crossing, you're making like lots of X's, and you don't want to go too deep with this. You're just going to go all the way around. Anywhere that the clay will be touching, that's what you're fusing together. So that's where you need to score. So this one's looking pretty good. Let's go to our next one. And these 2 pieces are called pinch pots. I made them just a little bit earlier, and we're gonna put them together. So I'm just scratching the surface right now. I want to cover the whole thing because the more roughed up it is, the better it will be. My next step is going to be dipping my fingers in some water and covering this whole area with water. Basically, it's melting the clay a little bit. And with the rough surface, it'll help stick it together. So I'm gonna put it together, and then I'm going to use my smearing tool, or if you don't have a smearing tool, you can use a popsicle stick, and we're just going to fuse these 2 pieces together. I kind of like to refer it to as if I'm buttering bread. You don't want to be too hard or aggressive with it because you'll bruise the bread, but you don't want to be too easy that it's not doing anything. So I'm just seaming it all together. I went all the way around. You can also do this with your fingers, but I find a tool does come in handy. So right there, we just made a round ball, and one thing I can do is I can take my paddle to help smooth it out. Now the key is to move it around and use this rounded part of my paddle. See how that's starting to move it out, take out some of the cracks? And that is a nice, pretty good round ball. I could keep playing with it, but you get the idea for fusing purposes. I'm gonna flip my camera back up. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and you could make so many things out of this. I've made carved eggs. You can do all sorts of things. It does have an air pocket, so if it gets misshapen, you can press it back together and you can carve into it. I do like to let it dry a little bit before I do that. And when I'm all done, I make sure to poke a hole, because right now you have a lot of air pressure in there. And as it shrinks, the outside dries, it's gonna shrink down that air. And I've had it where I've had a couple days later, I poke a hole in it and I hear air come shooting out because that pressure has pushed down on it. It's a lot of fun. And if you ever want to do clay, you can always find a class or request a class with us at LP Design or Little Palettes. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Miss Crystal signing off. See you later.